Oh, hello, and welcome to another video. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how I accurately predicted what the Genestealer Cult's bespoke kill team would look like. And I guess when I get over myself, I will also run through what's actually in the Genestealer Cult's bespoke kill team. So, first thing I want to say is it was good to be right. I made a speculation video a little while ago, and I said that they would make a perfect release for White Dwarf, and that they would probably pull in specialists from their minor HQ characters. I wasn't correct when I predicted they'd pull in the medic fellow that you can see in the little picture from the other video, but I was correct in that they've pulled in 4 single blister pack figures. Clan packs now. They haven't been blister packs since you were a boy. Figures from the range serve as specialists in the team, which I think is really, really cool. Somewhat expensive, right? Because 2 of those characters is going to cost you about the same as a box of 10 guys. But, you know, we're playing Warhammer, so we either have a lot of disposable income or we economise in other areas of our lives. I guess we've all kind of made our peace with the cost part. So let's go through the actual White Dwarf team and let's give you an overview. Apologies for the slight blur on some of the images. I was going to do nicer scans of my White Dwarf, but then I ended up having a fight with my scanner, so I photographed them. So the first thing I want to do is to look over the basic overview before we get into the data sheets, the sort of important things. I've got my sort of green pen here, so we're going to start over here on the right hand side with the sort of rundown of what you have in your team. So the first important thing to cover off is that you can take infiltration and seek and destroy. So they've not mysteriously gained access to security, which is a shame because security is the best deck. I really think for all the people talking about balance changes in Kill Team, I think maybe they need to sort out the security deck and why it's better than all the other decks, because I don't know. It depends, right? If they're aware, if the designers are aware that security is easier to score, and they're using that as a balance mechanic, and saying, well, this team's got really strong models, but it doesn't get security, and this team gets security as a bit of a leg up, then fair enough. But what I suspect Games Workshop are doing is they're picking the archetypes based on the lore and the background, and they kind of are unaware that everybody that you speak to has decided that security is the best deck. I don't know. Right, so you can take, or have to take, a neophyte leader with an autogun, or a shotgun, or you can have a pistol and close combat option. So auto pistol, bolt pistol, or web pistol, chainsword, power maul, or power pick. Okay, we'll have a proper look at those when we get to the data sheet. Off the top of my head, I'm already thinking that it's going to be a bolt pistol, and either the power maul or the power pick, right? Because we know that the bolt pistol is better than the auto pistol. We know that having access to the power maul and the power pick is going to blow out having another shotgun or autogun. Not web pistol. I have read the rules, but I don't know the web pistol. We'll have a look when we get to it. But probably bolt pistol and the power pick or the power maul. And then 13 other operatives, so 14 total. But the Kelomorph and the Locus and the Sanctus Sniper and the Sanctus Talon count as 2 selections. And I know we're skipping around a bit. It says down here, and up to 2 cult agent operatives, right? So that's this bit here, which I'm trying to draw a box around. Up to 2 cult agent operatives. So your cult agents are the ones who are characters from blister packs. So it's the 2 Sanctus fellows, as well as the Kelomorph and the Locus. So you've got 4 options there. You can only have 2 of those, right? So it's 2 from there. You can only have 2 heavy gunners, right? And you can only have 2 gunners, okay? So in effect, what you're going to do is you're going to take your leader, right? And then you're going to take 10 more things, okay? Is that right? No? Yes? 9 more. No. Yeah, no. Yeah. So you got your leader. You're going to take either a Kellermorph, a Locus. You're going to take 2 of Kellermorph, Locus, the Sanctus Sniper, and the Sanctus Talon. So you take 2 from the green bucket, 2 from the red bucket, 2 from the blue bucket. You'll take Icon Bearer probably, and then you fill up the rest with the Brood Adepts. So it's a really interesting. I think it's quite badly phrased, but it's makes sense once you've read the whole column, and then you've read the whole column a second time. You'll understand it perfectly. I just think the order's a bit strange. I might have laid that out as a graphic so that it was more like a Force Organization chart from 40k, because that's basically what they've created, right? You've got 2 Cult Agent slots, you've got 2 Heavy Gunner slots, you've got 2 Gunner slots, you've got a Leader slot that you have to fill, you've got an Icon Bearer slot that you can fill, and then you fill the rest up with the Brood Adepts. It's a really granular, interesting way of making it. It's so miles away from the Fireteam model from the Compendium, which I made a video called "Was the Compendium a Mistake?" You know that I don't think the Compendium is the proper sort of way we're supposed to be playing Kill Team in the mind of the designers. So I think that this is really cool. I really think this kind of approach to team building doesn't mean that they're any good, but as somebody that enjoys sitting and thinking about what I'd put in a team if I was to collect an army or a warband or a kill team, this is cool. And then they've got their abilities. So all the bespoke teams get abilities. Been through this before. So the sisters have got the massive acts of faith, whereas the commandos have the quite kind of light on verbiage that they can charge out of conceal. And the Krieg have got their extra troopers or off-board artillery support, and Tau have their marker lights. So everyone has these abilities. Let's see what Genestealer cults have. So it says here, so we're going to look at text for Cult Ambush, which is here, fluff text, and then during the first turning point when the operative is activated, you can change its order. So that used to be something that you paid as Genestealer cults in the Compendium, you paid command point to do that. That's just default. Now, you can always change your order, and the first time the operative performs a fight or a shoot action in each of its activations, if its order was changed from conceal to engage during the activation, in the roll of attack dice step of that combat or shooting attack, you can re-roll any or all of your attack dice rolls of 1 result, e.g. results of 2. That's really interesting statistically, because you might have expected to say you can re-roll all your rolls of 1, but no, you can roll the dice, look at them, find your most numerate fail. So I'm going to re-roll all the 2s, I'm going to re-roll all the 1s, I'm going to re-roll all the 3s, whatever it might be, and re-roll them. And you can do that when you're activated to change your order. So you're always going to deploy all your models on conceal, because you may as well turn them over to engage during your turn, because if you do, even if they're not getting anything being on conceal, the fact that you change them over is gonna give them this buff. Awesome, yeah. So you don't have to think about it too hard when you're deploying. It's going to speed the game up a little bit there, and then it moves the thinking time onto the activation of each model. That's cool. And then I think when we get to their ploys, they got other ways to meddle with the orders as well. That's neat. Then we got this thing called Preternatural Assassin. You can't give them equipment. They get a 4-up invuln, and when they are shot, if they're in cover, you can either retain a crit or retain an additional normal. Preternatural Assassin, I'm going to double check. Certainly the Sanctus models have that. I have a feeling everything over here in the green bucket has that, so all 4 of the characters. But we'll check that as we go through the data cards. I have a feeling that's just like the package of special rules for the characters, which is pretty cool. Right, let's look at the data cards. So to start off with your leader, you've got to have a leader. He's not that exciting for my money. So he moves 3 circle, same as almost everybody, 2 action points as expected. He activates on his own, yes. Defense of 3, yes. Only a 5-up save and only 8 wounds. So pretty standard dude. And let me see here. So you got your bolt pistol. 4 dice, yeah, we know what a bolt pistol does. 4 dice hitting on 3s, 3/4 damage. Or you can have a web pistol, hits on 2s, 2/2 damage, but it has stun. Or you can have, I'm sure it said it on the other page that they're going to have an auto pistol, but they haven't even put auto pistol on the list because they know no one will take the auto pistol. Cool. For my money, you're going to give them a bolt pistol. I think the web pistol. There's nothing wrong with the web pistol. With the stun and stuff, but I think I'd rather have the bolt pistol just to do more damage. Just the extra point of damage or 2 of your crit. Yep. And then let's take a power weapon. You don't want the chainsword because you don't. Well, I don't know. It's actually a choice, isn't it? So the chainsword has ceaseless, which is reroll 1s. The power pick has rending, and the power maul has stun. For a lot of choices in Kill Team, they're actually pretty balanced, right? Because it's literally just which special rule do you want. I'm taking the power pick to get rending, I think. Am I? I think so. Yeah. But there's not much in it, actually. They're all sort of 4 dice hits on 3s for 5 damage. So, I think I'm going for the power pick. Is that chainsword better than your common or garden chainsword? I don't have anything else to hand, I don't think. Tell me in the comments, is his chainsword better? I think he's a buffed up chainsword. Maybe it's a misprint, but I hope it's not, because actually I really like that it's a genuine choice. That's pretty cool. He's got a special rule. So he's got the cult ambush rule. I suspect they're all going to have the cult ambush rule. Shadow Vector. Once per turning point, you can use either the Slink into Darkness or Coiled Serpent Tactical Ploys, page 73, without spending the command points, if a friendly neophyte operative visible to this operative is the friendly Wormblade operative for that ploy. So if you want to, pass this out, you can pass out one of these for free. Nothing wrong with that. I've put them on the side here. We're going to look through all the tactical ploys later after the data sheets. But so Slink into Darkness lets you flip your engage back over to a conceal. That's cool. Remembering, of course, that if you flip that conceal back over into an engage, you can get a buff. Right? That's what it said. So that's cool. The start of any turn, because at the start of the first turn you can flip it over because you've got a special rule, but at the starts of 2, 3, and 4 you can flip it over because that's the way the game works, right? So if you go over to a conceal, you doing it just so that you can flip it back over to get your bonuses, at the start of turn 2, 3, or 4. That's cool. And the Coiled Serpent, if it's activated and changes from conceal to engage, when it performs a fight or a shoot, then in the roll attack dice step, you can retain a normal hit as a critical hit, in addition to the buff that you can already have when you are fighting and shooting after changing your order from a conceal to an engage. So they're obviously trying to build this big mechanic around the turn you go from conceal to engage, you get a lot of extra oomph. Okay, that's cool. So that's your leader. Agents. So you're picking 0 to 2. I strongly suspect you're taking 2 in every single list because they've got a lot of rules. So they all have that Prisoner or Assassin package. So none of them can be given equipment. They've all got a 4-up in invulnerable save and things like that. Right, there's loads of text. So we're going to start on the far left-hand side here with the Locust. So he's got a barbed tail, 4 attacks, hitting on 3, 4 damage. It's one of them ranged blue weapons, like a Neural Whip, and it's silent, so he can attack with that even when he's on a conceal. Okay. And then in combat, 5 attacks, 2 damage, 4, 6, lethal, 5 up. Okay. That's okay. He's only got 9 wounds. It's okay. I suspect that his use is coming from all his wall of text down here. So duelist, each time he fights in the resolve successful hit step of the combat, you can resolve one successful hit before the attacker. If you do so, that successful hit must be used to parry. Huh. So if you are charged, because normally what happens in Kill Team, at least in my experience, is if you charge, you hit them, and then they hit you, and then you kill them. Right? So most combats work like that. The person that charges is going to kill, and they're going to take one hit in return, in my experience. This changes it so that you can charge. No, if you are charged, I'm sorry, you get to go first and parry one of their dice. Then they probably hit you, then you hit them, then they hit you. So if they only roll 1 or 2 hits, it's really good. So they charge you, but then they only roll 1 or 2 hits, then, well, yeah, if they only roll 2 hits, you parry one, and they're only going to hit you once, you're probably not going to kill you because they're not going to do 9 wounds. Yeah. That's good. It's not amazing, but it's good. Expert Swordsman, you can perform 2 fight actions during each of your activations. Each time you fight in a combat, you perform a free charge. Even if you've done so, but you can only charge blue. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that means that you can go... Okay. Problem with fight actions is that you're going to take that first hit in the first one, right? And then will you die to 1 hit in the second one? And so will your second... will it be the thing where you charge something, you hit it, it hits you, you hit it, it dies, you charge, you hit something, it hits you, and then you die. But I suppose you've got your duelist ability to try and give yourself a bit of extra survivability, because if they only roll the 1 or 2 hits, you can automatically... No, that only works if they're charging you, forget that. That doesn't help. I guess if you're charging into weenies, right, so if you're charging into somebody's basic troops, whatever they are, guardsmen, yeah, it gives you the option. I mean, to be fair, it's better than the alternative, which is you charge something, kill it, you've taken wounds, and then you're standing there with his mate looking at you. You may as well have a go, right? So it's not a bad ability, and you might get to kill 2 guys in 1 turn in combat because the second guy might be wounded from having been shot or something like that. So, okay, yeah, and it's free. It doesn't cost an AP. That's pretty cool. Quicksilver Strike, 1 action point, and it's a small novel. Hang on. Once this turning point, when an enemy operative is performing a normal move or dash action, and it moves within blue of the operative, you can interrupt the action to perform a free charge action with this operative. Oh, so it has an attack of opportunity like in Dungeons & Dragons. I'm showing my age now because I don't know what ancient edition of Dungeons & Dragons that rule applies from, but I certainly remember that from my youth. You can interrupt the action to perform a free charge action with the operative. It must finish that move within engagement range of that enemy operative. If it has a conceal order, you change it to an engage order to do so. If you do so, the enemy operative's action ends without finishing their move, and you must then perform a free fight action with this operative against the enemy operative, and this action is treated as your fight action. Okay, so it's a fight action for the purposes of action restrictions. But then you can perform 2 fight actions, you can perform another fight. Okay, alright, okay. And a more appropriate analogy, rather than talking about attacks of opportunity from D&D, might be talking about tackle zones from Blood Bowl, right? Because basically what you've got around this guy is a tackle zone of blue. If someone moves within a radius of blue around you, then you get to charge and shoot and charge and slice at them. So that becomes really powerful if you can block off a choke point to an objective, right? Or even just standing on an objective. Because if somebody comes near enough to the objective to be contesting it off you, then you get a free charge and hit on them, which is pretty cool. Hang on, do you have to have not yet activated? Once this turning point, when an enemy operative is performing a normal move or a dash. No, so that you can have that free fight even after you've done all your stuff in your turn, as far as I can see. And they got 3 APL. That's something else I need to mention. All these specialists specialists. I should never use that word. All of these cult agents have 3 APL as well, which is pretty cool. So he's a really good combat piece. Also, I think he's a really good objective piece because of that field, that tackle zone. Okay, the Kellamorph. So this one here, which is the cowboy Genestealer, which I always thought was a funny model. So same stat block, fine. Liberator auto stubs because he's got some 6-shooters. At long range, oh, he can shoot them at long range. Okay, cool. I thought he was a short range shooty fellow. So at long range, 4 dice hitting on 4s, 3, 4, piercing 1 and rending. Well, yeah, it's better than nothing. And then at short range, you get an extra dice and he starts hitting on 2s. Okay, that's pretty cool. And if he gets into combat, he has a knife. 3 dice hitting on 3s, 3, 4 with rending. Yeah, okay. Right, heroic inspiration. If this operative incapacitates an enemy operative until the end of the turning point, it is a heroic inspiration. It becomes a heroic inspiration, Games Workshop. It performs a heroic inspiration. It becomes heroically inspiring. I don't know. It is a heroic inspiration. Doesn't exactly rattle off the tongue. Anyway, right. Each time a friendly Wormblade Neophyte operative fights in combat or makes a shooting attack, if this operative is a heroic inspiration, I really want to say is an heroic inspiration, but I'm aware that that's technically not correct grammar, but it just sounds so much better. Like an historian, right? And is visible to and within blue of the friendly operative in the roll attack dice step of that combat or shooting attack, you can retain one of your attack dice results of 5+ that is a successful normal hit as a critical hit instead. Whoa, that is a lot of words to say what I think amounts to if you kill somebody, you create an aura of blue, and if they're within the aura of blue, they get lethal 5+. Is that what that says? I think that's what that says. Okay. That's okay, that's pretty cool. Now, as somebody who plays novitiates and uses the lady with the mace with her aura of blue for rerolling armor saves, auras of blue are great, and you cluster at your models and you go towards the enemy, and then someone throws frag grenades at you, and it's very upsetting. So, yeah, pinch of salt. I think that's probably more, upsettingly, because it's used up so much space on the card, but I think that's probably more a situational thing rather than a thing you go out of your will, or out of your way to pull off to get that. You just, when it happens, and you're happy. Expert Gunslinger. It can perform 2 shoot actions during each activation. Well, that's nice. So I've got my 3 APL, and I'm using 2 of them every turn to shoot with my pistols. I mean, that's pretty cool. So he wants to close to short pistol range with you and shoot a lot. And then maybe he gets to buff someone else, maybe not. That's cool. Hypersense. 1 AP. The next time an operative performs a shoot action during the activation for the shooting attack, the short range profile of the Liberator auto stubs is indirect and gains the no cover special rule, but loses the P1 and rending critical hit rules. Wow, okay. So you can shoot through walls, but you're not quite as piercing of the arm when you do that. Okay, that's cool, because it's going to come up where it's either like you pay that to take that shot in that way, or you do nothing, usually. I think again, it's not something you aim to exploit, but it's something that when it comes up, it's a tool that you're glad that you have in your toolbox. He's cool. I don't think he's as interesting as the Locust to me, but he's cool. Right, the Sanctus Fellows. Can I say it's upsetting to me that it's the same model with a different weapon? Like, I know that's the kit, and it's probably fine in 40k, where you're going to have one and pick its weapon. I mean, I have no idea. Maybe they're really good in Genestealer cults, and you have like 3 of them each, but I just think in Kill Team, if you had both of them on the field, it just looked kind of funny. I don't know. So, Sanctus Sniper. Sniper rifle, 4 damage, hits on 2s, 3/3, heavy silence, 3 mortal wounds on the crit. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's a sniper, isn't it? And he doesn't want to be in combat. Special unique actions. Target vulnerability 1 AP. Until the end of the activation, the sniper rifle it's equipped with gains lethal 5 up. That's good because you really want those crits to do a delicious 6 damage. So doing them twice as often is good. Familiar's Soul Sight. Select 1 enemy operative. Until the end of the turning point, each time the operative makes a shooting attack against the enemy operative, 1. The sniper rifle it's equipped with gains no cover, so they can't retain a cover dice. 2. They can't be obscured for the shooting attack, so now he's a pathfinder. 3. Areas of smoke cannot prevent the enemy operative from being visible for a shooting attack. Areas of smoke. It's a Space Marine Reaver compendium thing, isn't it? And do commandos have it? I'm going to go off on a massive tangent and say that I definitely think that they're going to do a Space Marine kill team, and it's going to be Primaris Scouts, and they're going to have smoke grenades. I'm joking, but I genuinely do think they're going to do Primaris Scouts, but it does now feel like there's going to be some kind of more smoke grenades coming into the game as well. Or they're just doing really good rules writing and remembering an obscure rule they have. Sure. That seems really good. I mean, you have to already be up there. I guess a lot of people play on boards still, don't they? Where they have a Octarius corner in their deployment zone. So if you get him up there already in your deployment, or you can use your pre-game dash to get him up there where he needs to be, and then you can do your 3 APL and activate all his buffs, both his buffs, and get a shot off. That's really cool. But from turn 2 onwards, yeah, that's pretty cool. And the way to counterplay snipers is not let them see you, but he has quite a lot of tools. You know, you can't be obscured from him, and you can't use smoke, so that's pretty good. What he doesn't do is ignore conceal, so there's that. That's still pretty cool. I like that a lot. And then we're going to go down here now for the last one, the Stabby Fellow. So the Stabby Fellow has a Bio Dagger, damage 3, crits, wow, 3/6, which is a big swing. 2 choose to hit, 4 dice, lethal 4+. Is that the first time we've seen lethal 4+? Lethal 4+, and stun. Big stabby dude. Okay. Creeping Shadow, he can charge when he's got conceal, so he's a commando. Each time this operative fights in combat, he can perform a free dash, regardless of what else he's done. And even if it's within engagement range of an enemy operative, but you can't move to within engagement range of an enemy operative with your dash. And then for 1 AP, you can select 1 enemy operative until the end of the turning point. Each time its operative fights in combat with that enemy operative, the Sanctus Bio Dagger this operative is equipped with gains brutal and balanced, which balanced is a reroll, and brutal can only be parried with a crit, right? And he's got 3 APL, so he's going to activate, turn on his buff, charge and fight, hopefully. That's pretty good as well. I like them all. I like the Sanctus Sniper, I think he's fun. I like the Locust because I think he's got really strong abilities with that Quicksilver Strike. But I think the Talon is stronger than the Locust just as a bruiser belt. I think the Calamorph's pretty good as well, but maybe he's the least useful of the bunch. But they're all really good, and you wish you could take all 4, but you can't. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at gunners. So hopefully spend less time on this side. The video's already 35-ish minutes long. Right, so 0 to 2 of each, but you have to have unique weapons. So you've got your neophyte gunner, and you have flamers, grenade launchers, and webbers to choose from. Well, you take a grenade launcher every day of the week that ends in Y because the grenade launcher is really good. Yeah. And then a flamer or a webber. The webber has lethal 5 up. And then when it gets a critical hit, it can stun. Meanwhile, the flamer hits on 2s rather than 3s. I don't think it matters. Maybe you take the webber because it's more interesting. But I don't think you'd be upset if you took the flamer. Yeah, you take one of them because you might as well, because the only thing you're losing by taking it is an auto gun. And I don't think you'd want to take an auto gun instead of a flamer. And I'm not actually 100% sure because I don't rate flamers, but no, you probably take either of them. Webber, it's interesting, but or the flamer, but neither both because you must take the grenade launcher. And then the heavy gunner, same profile. Heavy stubber, you know what heavy stubber does? 5 attacks, hits on 4s, 3/4 damage. Ceaseless, which is good. Heavy, which is not so good. Fusillade, which I've never managed to use effectively. That's where you can allocate some of your dice to adjacent models. I'm sure it has a use, but I've never found it. Ceaseless is some kind of reroll, I want to say. Mining laser, 5 attacks, hits on 4s, 5/6 damage, piercing 1, heavy. Oh, well, you take a mining laser. Yep. Seismic cannon at long range, 6 shots, hitting on 4s, 2/2. Blast and stun. Shortwave, 4 dice only, but hitting on 3s, 4/4. You got to be within red to use this profile. Piercing 1 and stun. I think I like the heavy stubber better than the seismic cannon, which I think is probably going against received wisdom. I mean, obviously, if you're going to make use of the blast, if you're going against Krieg or something, or another... In the world where we forget the compendium exists, you take the seismic cannon, because everyone's running a team of at least 10 guys, right? But the compendium does exist, and that's relevant because Harlequins and Custodes are actually worth, they are competitive, and they are the competitive elite teams. Right? The Harlequins and the Custodes are there, and they're still gonna win games. If you go to a tournament, and you've got to be able to deal with Harlequins or Custodes still. So maybe if you're fighting them, you're gonna take your heavy stubber because it's going to put more dice onto a Custode than you are with a seismic cannon. Or not necessarily more dice, but more wounds, because you're never going to leverage your blast there. Yeah. I like the heavy stubber better. But I think with the seismic cannon, you get too bogged down in trying to run it forwards to get the better profile, and then you've run your heavy weapon forwards, and you're not standing it on a hill behind a low wall shooting with it, and it's heavy. But I don't think there's much in it. But you definitely take a mining laser, and then I'll go for a heavy stubber. But you could take a seismic cannon if you like the look of it. And then the rest, neophyte icon bearer. He has a choice of weapons, and you take the auto gun. Yes, because range is bad, and it's not worth a point of damage. It's a point of damage and a point of accuracy, but still range is bad. So I take the auto gun, and then icon bearer. So when determining control objective marker, treat this objective's operative's APL characteristic as being 1 higher. This is not a modifier. In narrative play, it does something with a thing that I don't know what it is. I wish they would make icons all do the same thing in every single list, because it seems to be slight variations on a theme. When determining control, it counts its APL as one high. Note this is not a modifier. I don't think previous things have said note this is not a modifier, but maybe they should have done. But yeah, okay. Unique actions signal the strike until the end of the turning point for the purposes of the cult ambush ability. If its operative is visible to him within blue of the friendly operative performing the fight or shoot action, you can re-roll any or all of your attack dice instead, rather than the attack dice of one result. So it slightly buffs your ability that we talked about at the start of the video. It can't perform this action while it's in engagement range with enemy operative. It's not that good, but also it's in a slot of its own, and you might use it. And the only thing you're actively losing is a Brood Adept who's the same without the banner, but with GA2. So hang on. So in a basic list, you're going to have your leader, 2 super cool James Bond assassin-y character men, 2 heavy gunners, 2 gunners, potentially an icon bearer, and 4 adepts with auto guns. But maybe you don't take the icon bearer and you don't take your flamer/webber, and you instead get another pair of adepts with auto guns to group activate. I take the icon bearer, to be honest, and the flamer or webber flamer. Yeah. And then you got your Brood Adepts. They're rubbish. You take 4 of them because you have to, and you give them auto guns because they are going to stand on a home objective shooting things that they can see. Yeah. Cool. So that's what I think I would take. So your leader with your bolt pistol and the power pick, your locust, Sanctus sniper, neophyte gunner with a grenade launcher, neophyte gunner with a webber, but you could take a flamer, the neophyte heavy gunner with a mining laser, the heavy stubber, but you could take the seismic cannon, and 4 blokes with auto guns. And then, so you're buying a box of the neophytes and 2 characters. And then if you decide you really like the list, I guess you go buy your second box of neophytes and the other 2 characters to have your kind of sideboard or substitute bench or whatever you want to call it. And you could even build the leader with the power maul and the web pistol if that's what you wanted to do. You could build a couple of leaders. You have all 3 leaders, you know. Yeah, I think that's what I'd go with if I was starting off with 1 box and two blister packs. And then obviously with your characters, it's basically, I think, the case of if you wanted to go for a combat skew, so if you decided you wanted to really combat-y, you'd change to the Sanctus, the combat Sanctus and the Locust, and if you wanted to go really shooty, you'd keep the sniper and swap the Locust out for the Kelamorph. But I think most of the time you're taking the Locust and the sniper, maybe. I would want to play with the Locust a couple of times. Maybe you're better off with just the straightforward combat shooty guy, but I feel like his interception aura thing ability is really good. Okay, equipment, ploys, and tactical objectives. Loads more things to cover. Equipment first, you can have frag grenades. They do frag grenade things. Yes. Blasting charge is a crack grenade, maybe. Range red, blast black, indirect and limited. 4 attacks hitting on 3 is 3/4 damage. Yeah, close enough. Flash visor. Each time this model is activated, you can ignore any and all modifiers to its APL. Oh, that's... What modifies your APL desperately? Not a lot. That's very situational to be spending equipment points on, isn't it? It's one of those things where probably they got heads with flash visors on, and they looked through the kit and gone, flash visor should do something. I tell you what's interesting, this kill team's got no native way of giving out +1 APL, so I was buying some tokens recently, and I'm going to make a video on those at some point when they arrive.
and I was, and Mrs. Tabletop Impulse was asking me, oh, do we really need APL tokens? And I was like, oh yeah, all the bespoke teams, they have loads of stuff in for modifying APL. It's going to become a really core mechanic. So you've got your comms type guys in nearly every team, and these guys haven't, have they? That's interesting. Nothing to do with the flash visor. I'm just going off on a little mini tangent there. Spotlights. While an enemy operative is visible to and within red of a friendly operative with this ability, that enemy operative cannot be obscured. I mean, if I've learned anything from Pathfinders being quote unquote broken, then that must be quote unquote broken as well, except that you've got to be within red. Although you give it to a guy that's going to go forwards, so you give it to your guy, and then you can shoot them with your other guy. But then again, your best shooting piece, that's your sniper, already has a way to turn off obscured, so using that to line up shots for your mining laser. But it's 3 equipment points. Need to play it. Cult Talisman, 2 EP. Once per battle, when a shooting attack is made against operative, in the roll all successful hits save, you can change one of your retained normal saves into a critical save. If you have some points spare and you find a piece is really key to your game, then maybe you give him that, but probably not. Climbing equipment. Oh, Zimbad raves about climbing equipment. So if he ever plays this gang, that'll be it. 10 sets of climbing equipment on everybody that can have climbing equipment. Each time the operative ascends or descends terrain while climbing, the first vertical distance of up to 3 circle it travels is counted only as circle. The operative does not need to be within black, a physical and climbable part of the terrain feature in order to climb. Each time the operative drops, the intended location can be any vertical distance from any level it occupies. Each time the operative drops counts any vertical distance, travels half the drop. So if you are coming to a game of Kill Team, and you pick your equipment after you've seen the kill zone, and if you see before you the Chalnath ruins, then maybe what you do is you go, oh, I'm gonna take climbing equipment. And if you see some custom terrain, okay, after I said that I realised that's rubbish because they put scalable on the Chalnath ruins. But if you see that your terrain is pretty big, if you're going to be traversing up a lot of 3 circle distances rather than 2 circle distances, then yeah, climbing equipment, maybe on the sniper, because you want to get out to that vantage point in the first turn, and then you can shoot, but maybe not on full power, but you get a shot off. That's pretty good. You can have a knife. I guess if you want to do it as a combat-y, if you want to skew combat, and you can give your autogun guys knives, so they've got something to do. And then you can just charge forwards like a massive horde with your mining laser and your heavy stubber in the back. But everyone else, yeah, you could do that. You could take 4 cult knives on your 4 basic goobers. I don't necessarily think it's good, but it's an option. Yeah, I think the strongest thing there is possibly the spotlight, but possibly it's things we've seen before, like the grenades and the climbing equipment. I'm going to be told repeatedly the next time I see Zimbab that it's climbing equipment times 50. But yeah. Tac ops. So these are the 3 tac ops that they can swap into their decks. They're not decks that I'm intimately familiar with because they're not security. Faction tac op nowhere unreachable. Reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of the first turning point your opponent places. Your opponent places one of your location tokens anywhere in the kill zone that's more than red from their drop zone. At the end of any turning point, a friendly operative is within black of that location token. You score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of every subsequent turning points, you score 1 VP. I don't know what kind of clangers are in the 2 decks that these guys can access, but that is not something that I would ever want to take, because letting your opponent say that, you've got to get over here, and I know you've got to get over here, and it's only going to be red from my drop zone, and it's probably going to be behind this big piece of wall that my guys can see behind, and your guys would have to walk around. Yeah, it's not gonna. No. Nope. Faction Attack Op 2, Perfect Ambush. Reveal in the target reveal step of any turning point before the 4th.
Keep a tally of wounds lost by each player's operatives. This is Mechanicum had this, right? Where they have to keep a tally of stuff. During the turning point, at the end of the turning point, if the total wounds lost by enemy operatives during that turning point is greater than lost by friendly operatives during that turning point, you score a victory point. If the total wounds lost by enemy operatives during that turning point as a result of a friendly cult agent operative, shooting attacks they make or combats they fight in, is greater than the total number of wounds lost by friendly operatives, you score a victory point. So if you get a cult agent to kill 2 things, 1 thing, we'll just do more wounds than they do to you. You can get your 2 VP. That should be pretty easy to score because of how you can hide or keep all your guys hidden, and then maybe shoot them with a sniper. And you're going to use something. Yeah, maybe. Again, it depends what else is in the deck, but maybe. Faction Tac Op 3, mark for assassin. I'm assuming, by the way, that if you do the wounds with the cult agent, you get to tick off both. Because total wounds lost by enemy operatives and total wounds lost by enemy operatives as a result of a cult agent. Well, the ones that were a result of the cult agent are lost for they meet both criteria. So yes, you only have to do wounds with your 1 cult agent. Yeah, okay, fine. Tac Op 3, mark for assassination. Reveal this tac op in target reveal stuff of any turning point. If an enemy operative with a marked token is incapacitated, you score 1 VP. If an enemy operative with a marked token is incapacitated, if another. Okay. Friendly near-fight operatives can perform the following action. Mark for assassination. So an enemy operative with a GA of 1 is visible to him within blue. You can spend an action point to mark it. You can't perform the action while within engagement range of an enemy operative. Oh, you have to be within blue, but not within engagement range, which is black. Or if another friendly operative has performed this action, this turning point. But you can't do it with your AP3 fellows, so it's kind of, you've got to get your AP2 guys up and then use one of their APs. So it's a bit similar to an implant type of situation where you're going to be not charging them because you can't be in, but you're going to be like walking near them and then going, oh, I've marked you, and then standing there and waiting for them to shoot you in the face. I don't know. I think the best one there is probably Perfect Ambush. I think that's probably one that you're subbing in most of the time. The others, I'll be honest with you, they're not decks that I play with very often because I play Novitiate, so I take security, so I don't know, but maybe some of them are easier to score than the other things in your deck. Let's have a look at the ploys. So we've already looked at some of the tactical ploys. Let's look at the strategic ploys. So, meticulous plan. At the end of the turning point, each time a friendly near-fight operative is activated, if it has a conceal, it can perform a mission action or the pickup action for 1 less action point to a minimum of 0. You can only use this strategic ploy once. Oh, okay, so that's how you maybe do the mark for assassination mission thing, because that's a mission action. So you can then do it for free while you're concealed if you spend a CP. Okay, that makes a bit more sense now. So maybe that's the thing, and you just wander around being concealed, and then you do that for free, and then maybe, yeah, okay, that's fine. One with the shadows. When determining line of sight from an enemy operative to a friendly operative, if the friendly operative is concealed, light terrain is obscuring. Oh. So use until the end of the turning point. So if your entire team, and when they're trying to determine line of sight from an enemy operative to a friendly operative, if the friendly operative has a conceal, light terrain is obscure. I mean, you're going to use that in the first turn, unless you're very secure in your placement, because then you're really not going to get shot unless it's on your own terms. It lets you play your placement a bit more kind of iffy and still just not worry. That's pretty good. Writhing Ingress. Place one of your ingress. You're going to need a whole breadth of. So far we've had marked tokens, and now we've got ingress tokens. Place one of your ingress tokens within black of a terrain feature no more than black thick. Okay, interesting, because it's going to depend on the board you're playing on. Until the end of the battle, friendly Wormblade operatives can move through that terrain feature as if it were not there, so long as they do so within black of the token. You can only use this strategic ploy once, so you can make a door. It's pretty cool. It depends a lot on the table because, I mean, this is a whole thing, and I'm going to go really off topic in a video that's already 51 minutes long. But they put in the rules for doors in Chalnath, and the Octarius Corner Ruins have doors in them. But somebody phoned Warhammer World and said, they've got a team event coming up in March, and Warhammer World said, "Oh, we're not playing the Octarius. The doors on the Chalnath table are doors, but on the Octarius table, the doors aren't going to be doors." I don't know if anybody cares about Warhammer World's rulings, but I do. So I guess it depends on where you are with doors. If you're playing on Octarius without the doors being doors, then suddenly that writhing ingress is really good, because quite often you would want to move through one of those big corner ruins. Yeah, but generally speaking, if you're playing with the doors as doors, then it's less of an issue. Crossfire. Until the end of the turning point, each time after a friendly Wormblade operative makes a shooting attack, if the target has not been incapacitated and does not have a crossfire token, it gains a crossfire token until the end of the turning point. Each time a friendly Wormblade operative makes a shooting attack, if the target has a crossfire token, in the roll attack dice step of that shooting attack, before rolling your attack dice, you can retain one as a successful normal hit without rolling it. That's pretty cool. So it means that you can kind of try and get a crossfire token on with an autogun fellow, and then shoot him with bigger guns, right? Because it's like a budget marker light. Yeah, that's cool. Strategic ploys seem pretty good. Obviously, you're going to want to do the door one once, maybe depending on the table. You're going to want to do crossfire if you intend to do any shooting. Some of them are pretty situational, but I'm guessing you're going to want to really look at them and really think about your CP, because they are all very good, I think. And yeah, they are all very good. Sling into Darkness and Coiled Serpent we've looked at already when we looked at the leader. Briefly again, Sling into Darkness lets you change your engage into a conceal order for a command point, and Coiled Serpent gives you a buff to the whole situation where you're going from a conceal to an engage, and you perform a fight for a shoot, then you can retain one of your successful normal hits as a critical. Fine. Unquestioning Loyalty. Use this card when a friendly Wormblade leader or cult agent operative is selected as a target for combat. Select one other friendly Locus or Neophyte operative, excluding a leader operative within blue. If the intervening friendly operative is not within engagement range of the enemy operative, you can interrupt the combat to perform a free charge, but it must finish the move within engagement range of the enemy operative fighting the combat. If the intervening friendly operative is within engagement range of the friendly operative, it becomes a target of the combat. Oh, that's cool. So they've got if you're advancing your combat guy up with the regular shooting guys, or you've got a shooting guy back with your other guy, then they have to basically chew through your mooks to get to your characters in combat. Ah, that's cool. Hiding 1 CP. Use it in the setup operative step of the mission. So straight away, my antennae are up because that's shenanigans. Use it in the setup operative set of the mission sequence when you would set up operatives. Select 2 friendly near. Here we go. 2 friendly neophyte operatives to be set up in hiding. In the firefight phase of the first turning point, friendly operatives in hiding have a group activation characteristic of 1, are considered to be within the kill zone for activation purposes,
and can be activated as normal. When it's activated the first time, set it up with an order of your choice anywhere in the kill zone within red of your drop zone and more than blue from enemy operatives. It's treated as having performed a normal move, with subtracting action points accordingly, and continue action points as normal. I mean, neophyte operatives. So is that anything other than the 4 specialists? If it is, does that mean that you can set up a flamer just in somebody's face? Does that mean you want to take a shotgun guy so you can just go, here's my flamer and my shotgun, and they're right there and now they're shooting you? Maybe if I'd read that before I came up with my idea, maybe you want to take a shotgun fellow so that you can pop him up with a flamer or a Weber fellow and just go bam. I'm sure its real use is something really boring to do with tactical objectives, but that's funny, so maybe you do that. Alright, next slide, please. So, we're done. I've reached the end of a mammoth video, which I've been talking for nearly an hour. Fortunately, I'm a teacher by trade, so wobbling on at people who are probably quite disinterested by this point for nearly an hour is part of my skill set. I think the Genestealer cults in White Dwarf seem pretty strong and very interesting. I think they are the most strong and interesting seeming of all 3 of the White Dwarf lists that we've got. Thousand Suns are still pretty cool. The Admech list seemed a bit meh. These guys seem really fun and interesting. I think for speculation purposes, again, it was really, really good to be right. But I think it's really interesting that the whole pulling character. Now that Rubicon has been crossed, that we don't have to be a box of troops, or 2 boxes of troops, that you can have characters. Can think about some of the other characters that you could pull in for some of the other ranges. You know, it's not going to be your Space Marine captains. It's not going to be your chaplains and librarians. But we're looking at, you know, things of the sort of support level. You know, lieutenants, commissars, apothecaries. You know, things. If we go through there, for a real example, our demon's going to be able to take a herald. I could kind of see that, right? And then maybe they're going to get. This is going to rapidly turn into another prediction. Maybe demons can take precisely 1 herald, and then they get a different set of bonuses depending on which herald of which god is leading their team, right? And then you've got your herald, and then you can mix your demons behind your herald, and then so maybe that's what they're going to do. Who knows? Or Necrons have got Cryptex as well. They could do exactly the same thing because they've. Oh, I'm not up on my Cryptex fluff, but there's like. I want to say physics Cryptex, chemistry Cryptex, and time Cryptex, but it's something like that. And then there's like creepy flayed one making Cryptex. Please, if that's anywhere near right, let me know. But you take your flavour of Cryptek, and then you could almost have a situation where he was providing a buff over the top of your army. But it's interesting as an idea that they could put in these support characters from 40k, these kind of mid-level support characters. That could happen. Oh my days! I came out of the gate and said that I'm going to do a video Wednesday, Sunday, Friday, and then I sat on this White Dwarf all day yesterday going, do I make a video? But it's not going to be like a short video. It's going to be like a really long video. And then I've broken my schedule already without ever really following it. And I really want to stick to the upload schedule, because if there's one thing that I hear get advised time and time again, it's YouTube will push your channel out to more people if you upload on a regular schedule, even though that is like only once a week. It's still better, apparently. I don't know. And I would like my stuff to be seen by more people, I guess because I'm vain. And want people to hear the sound of my voice, which is the same reason I became a teacher. I guess that's what it is. I have a deep pathological need to inflict my thoughts on other people through the medium of droning on at them. And on that note, I've nearly talked for an hour, so thank you everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've watched this long, then you must really like my content. So if you're here, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel.
please consider making a comment and asking some questions or telling me about Necron Cryptex. That would be really useful. And please go and consider joining the Discord or buying loads of stuff from Element Games. That's all in the description as well. I hope you have a really great rest of your day, and yeah, and let me know as well if you are going to start or are looking forward to Genestealer cults. So in this house, Mrs. Tabletop Impulse has got the Genestealer cults, but we'll see how that goes. All right, bye guys. Signing off. Be a new video on Sunday. Cheerio, bye.